get people back to work.
Well, let's talk about the possible government shutdown. The annual deadline to fund the federal government is coming up at the end of September. If Congress can't come to terms on annual spending bills, we could face a shutdown in the middle of a pandemic. Congressman Reed, what would this mean for Americans?
No, it means the American people will suffer. And that's why the leaders, such as on both sides of the aisle, in the House and Senate, have to set aside politics. That's where guys like Josh and myself in the Problem Solvers Caucus, we always talk about putting the American people first, and we always stand up to the extremists in both sides of the aisle. Now on the Democratic side and also on the Republican side, you see it, and we stand up to it because when you don't stand up to the extremism on the left and the right, what happens is that the American people suffer because people in the leadership positions in D.C. pander to that extremism. That causes gridlock, and when gridlock occurs, the people that suffer are the American people, and that's what could happen if we don't come to an agreement here in the House and Senate to get a deal done to keep the government open.
And Congressman Gottheimer, a deal to provide additional stimulus, that's still up in the air. The $600 per week extra in unemployment benefits, that disappeared at the end of July. The president stepped up with an executive order for an additional $300. That should be going out in the vast majority of states any time now. But what about Congress acting? Because it's really out of your hand, and it's out of Congressman Reed's hand. It is with Nancy Pelosi and in Republicans in the Senate.
It's actually with the Senate right now. We did our job in terms of appropriating in the House and got that done. Now we're waiting for the Senate to act. So we have to fund the government. They've got it. The Senate's got to act. In terms of the COVID package, actually, we acted in the House. And as Tom will tell you, the Problem Solvers Caucus, we've been working together to help find an agreement because we need to get people back to the table. Leadership in the House and the Senate and the White House have to get back to that table. There's too many people's lives on the line, whether you're talking about making sure there's food for our kids, our resources for our state and local governments to keep functioning, obviously for our small businesses, those direct assistance that you were talking about and unemployment help. I mean, this is what we're in a pandemic, we're in a crisis, and now is not the time to play partisan games. It's the time to actually get stuff done, and we need to get back to the table.
Congressman Reed, I'll give you the final word on this, but I mean, front and center is the fact that a presidential election is 2 months away from now. What kind of, let's just talk about like a small aid package. Would it be something like maybe $500 billion? I mean, in this day and age, that's small.
No, I think we can do better than that. I mean, Josh is absolutely right. We've been working for weeks, and we've been behind the scenes working with the stakeholders to try to get them back to the table. And glad to see that we were, I think, helpful getting Mark Meadows and Nancy Pelosi to talk, at least start to thawing some of that relationship. But I think we can get through into the next administration, either Trump's second or Biden's first, into March. And if you look at it from that time perspective, you could do a trillion and a half type of package. And I think there's broad agreement on what that would look like and what the relief would look like. But it's not about a number. It's about providing relief to Americans that are suffering and the relief that they need now. And if you take that approach to it and you get these guys back to the table, well, I can tell you, we in the Problem Solvers Caucus have been able to really have a conversation about line by line where the priorities are. And when you do that and you put the American people first, it's amazing where the common ground is.
Congressman Reed, Congressman Gottheimer, great to see you both.